Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining. Today, we are going to talk about managed services for Sage 100 and 300, and essentially how tying that together with your application experience and business process is so impactful for a lot of our customers and a lot of companies. And we want to talk to you about that a little bit today. So, just a couple of webinar details. I will tell you this presentation is probably about 25 to 30 minutes long. All of the lines are going to be muted, but I always like taking the back half of these presentations to go through questions that you might be having about either your business, your technology landscape, what steps you're taking next, and then really just having that dialogue. So please type in your questions at the bottom, and we'll be happy to get those addressed. So just a quick agenda. We're going to talk through the IT management burden and changes beyond the ERP. We're then going to talk about management services for Sage ERP and your entire infrastructure, benefits from managed services for Sage ERP and beyond, and then choosing the right MSP, and how tying in some of the software and tools that you're using to run your business, why that's so critical in choosing your managed service provider as well. So today's speaker, my name is Tyler Bauer. I'm the practice director at Cloud at Work, and really have been here at Cloud at Work, Net at Work for the past 8 years. My entire career has been focused, or I should say, for the past 15 years, I've been focused on creating the absolute best technology experiences for Sage end users in the market today. And at Cloud at Work, it's actually our number one goal is to help our clients in that transformation and really complete the path of technology consumption as they also are using Sage to drive their business forward. So, the IT management burden, what is it? And while we're looking at taking Sage and focused on some of the core offerings of Cloud at Work, which is taking your Sage application and putting that into a cloud, or maybe you're using Sage Intacct today, or another SaaS-based application. But that application being in the cloud really creates, I would say, a fortress, if you will, around the consumption and application, giving you things like security, availability, redundancy, that maybe you're not getting at a certain scale under your current IT deployment. But now, like, what about the rest of your on-prem infrastructure? What about hybrid environments and the need for remote capability, or even true mobility? And then what about the third-party applications and integrations sitting around this application, and even around certain parts of your business? So common challenges that I'm talking to when I'm speaking with owners and CEOs and executive teams are really trying to maintain uptime and ensuring performance across their business, not just within Sage, trying to manage the compliance and cybersecurity threats that are really impacting how we do business, both inside of our state, inside of our country, and outside of all of those places as well. How in the world of the internet, right, and the IoT of things, how are we monitoring these interconnected systems? How are we balancing the IT resources between ERP management and business process, and then as well just foundational principles that allow us to scale those business processes? And then as we shift more and more into the decoupled network, into really being enabled remotely, how are we going to juggle that period of time where we're kind of working in hybrid, right? And I'll add another one here too. It's how do we understand where we're going in the next 5 years if technology is changing at a rate that we can't even keep up with? All of these things are really driving business towards identifying key areas of improvement, and Cloud at Work is here to help you through that decision-making process. So when we look at managed services for Sage ERP and your entire IT infrastructure, there's really five main components of what is driving us towards this future-looking piece. We have our applications, business apps, Sage ERP or other business apps. We have application integration. We have foundational principles like backup and disaster recovery for our business and for our infrastructure. We obviously have infrastructure management, whether that's in the cloud, on-prem, and then we have our cybersecurity posture. What I think everybody is realizing is that cybersecurity really can't just be a place where we're doing it in some areas and not in others. It's really a posture or stance that we're looking to take as an organization to drive improvement, gain efficiencies, and gain clarity on what our risk is and what we're willing to accept and what our customers are willing to accept. Just because we have Sage in Cloud at Work and super secure with SOC 2 and DR and all these things, does not mean that there aren't other vulnerabilities sitting on the network. We need to behave in a very common way across all of our business, not just one or two silos. Then when we look at into infrastructure management, a lot of our customers are using cloud resources or cloud applications in some parts, but still have domain controllers and other pieces that are sitting locally, which all create vulnerabilities and are all interconnected into cybersecurity as well as uptime and availability of these services. I can tell you that there are some amazing things out there in the ecosystem now, and where companies like Microsoft and Sage are moving towards is really how to empower you as a business to operate freely in the most secure way. I was just at in Chicago meeting with executives from Microsoft and talking about what's next and what's possible from a security, AI, workforce. What does the new worker look like? And really some amazing stuff on ways to really consolidate and simplify how we access our application as well as our infrastructure. Now, obviously, you're aware if you're using applications like Sage 100 or Sage 300 that these applications are not, I would say, SaaS based or any type of uh, destination product, if you will. But Sage Intacct has been released, and a lot of customers are finding themselves wanting to explore that transformation from 100 or 300 to Intacct. But just because whether you have your Sage 100 and 300 in Cloud at Work, or you have Intacct in Sage's Cloud in Azure or AWS, you still have to really drive towards commonality of handling of data, how those applications are going to tie into overall improvement across other parts of our cybersecurity policy and infrastructure management policy, and as well, really looking at the complexity of having multiple tools delivering one result and what that can be, what it can do for an organization. I would say that in having a managed service company or an IT driven organization or strategist that really understands not just infrastructure and cybersecurity, but also can tie that in with business goals, compliance, as well as how to actually get the most out of the apps that run your business is super, super critical. At Cloud at Work, we are the largest Sage cloud provider in the world, and we're extremely focused on these workforce apps within the Office 365 suite for Microsoft and really creating efficiencies through Copilot and AI to really help empower not just the apps that are running, I would say your workforce, but also the apps that are running your business in Sage and how that integrates in. Which takes me to the next point. How do all these things communicate with one another? The worst thing that we can have is siloed business process or siloed applications. We need to communicate. This is the world of data-driven results, and speed factors into that. And then what good is having all the integration and great data and collaboration if us as a business aren't taking our backup and disaster recovery seriously? Some of our process might have embedded or built-in recovery and redundancy, but for most companies, there are areas that are not covered there. And so working with an organization who's foundationally thinking as well as thinking about the business and moving forward, that can be extremely powerful and is extremely powerful for a lot of our clients. So, what are some benefits of managed services for Sage ERP and beyond? So, you're going to be able to tell through one pane of glass an enhanced ERP uptime and reliability. So, you're going to be able to see proactive monitoring to identify and resolve those issues before downtime occurs. As well, you're going to have access 24/7 to a support team with real time resolution capability, not just at one area or the next, but a full suite from the device that you're holding in the hand to the application that runs your business. From there, you're going to have access to a team of individuals who have a comprehensive cybersecurity policy or cybersecurity foundation. We have vCISOs and security experts that can help our organizations build strategies and plans for how to posture for cybersecurity going forward. We have products and solutions and services that we can actually take over your entire security infrastructure and drive that with a guarantee on the back end from us on response and reactiveness as well as proactiveness. As well, you're going to see operational efficiencies and cost savings. And I think everybody's starting to realize that cost savings and operational efficiencies are really shifting more towards risk mitigation and knowing that the goalpost is moving constantly at a compounding rate. And the cost to get to that goalpost, to stay at par, to be a leader within your sector or within your industry, it takes a full time focus and drive towards that. The most successful organizations that I talk to and that I work with are looking at IT as a as a business driver, not necessarily a cost center like we had in the past. Obviously, shifting to these types of results will obviously yield major benefits to the bottom line, and we'd love to show you how that could happen. Obviously, by having that strategic IT focus, it frees up execution areas as well as key projects that will just enable business process even more. By going to a managed service organization, you're not replacing people. You're replacing tasks with automation. You're replacing monotony with AI. You're replacing all of these different things that just bog down the workforce today and don't allow for moving forward, but literally just maintain. You're automating that and creating a plan and strategy around that to embolden, empower it, and make it better so that we can use the current workforce to drive business goals rather than keep the lights on. So when we look at managed services in an overview, it's really simplified packaging and it gives you comprehensive coverage across all the different components that are important to your business today. So I mentioned from the device that's in your hand to the applications that are driving your business. So first, when you think about the devices, there's so much out there right now around, hey, I'm at home, or hey, I'm in the office. Hey, I use a tablet. Hey, I use a Surface. Hey, I use a Mac. Can I use my own device? Do I have to have corporate devices? All of these things add tons of complexity to the IT burden within an organization. And I can tell you that from a human capital perspective, not being able to adhere to the trends of the workforce will severely impact the amount of talent and the amount of individuals that will want to come work in your organization. Gen Z and the younger generations are looking for ways to be able to not have an off button while at the same time have the freedom to create and engage from wherever they are, whenever they are, or wherever they are, whenever they want, I should say. Things like AVD, which stands for Azure Virtual Desktop, things like PC as a service are changing the game for how even companies are procuring devices and supporting them. You now have the ability to really deploy a platform for your business rather than deploy a device. You still have the capability to use automated features and AI like within the Microsoft suite to do that at a very rapid rate. You can use HCM tools like Rippling to really help engage employee onboard and offboard and tie that into your actual IT experience. But the world is limitless. And so by having Cloud at Work and Net at Work on your side to really help drive that forward is super impactful at the device level. Tons of options. but we have you all covered. We know exactly where we're going. Now, user support at the very key sounds so like 1990, right? Like, of course, you're supporting users. But I talk to my counterpart, Brian Kingsley, all the time. And this is where he is focused on driving investment and improvement constantly. At the end of the day, we're in the business of supporting people and supporting end users in their journey towards a better IT experience. You're not going to be able to do that without automation and AI and all these great tools, of course. But at the end of the day, it's people talking to people, solving problems, using technology to make it better, faster, stronger. But we are extremely invested in engagement, in empowerment, in visibility. These are the traits of a fantastic user support organization, and we want to continue to drive towards that. And then finally, data protection. So being able to understand that as the world changes and compliance rules change and security rules change, and now you have to pull the lever, push the button, turn the wheel, where before you turn the wheel, push the button, pull the lever, that you have a company who's on the forefront of that, not just within a general state, but actually within your industry. So at Net at Work and Cloud at Work, we are working hand in hand with industry leaders and vertical leaders to understand what's next. We're helping you see around corners and doing foundational things like monitoring, email security, M365 cloud backup, multi-factor, single sign-on, SOC 2 certifications, penetration to all of these great things that can help drive your business forward. But really, what we look for are the trends and what's next. And we help our customers be able to do that by seeing around those corners. So when you think of the structure, it's really simple on how you want to evaluate whether managed services tied with application services is right for you. There's five main components. So if you're ever evaluating your current IT organization or you're evaluating a new one, you want to look into advisory. Do I trust this company to help drive me forward within my industry, within my vertical? Do they understand where we're going, and are they taking the time to really, really communicate and understand? We do that by a slew of different things: executive business reviews or quarterly business reviews, IT strategic planning, road mapping, actual documents of roadmaps and showing you, new functionality planning, business continuity planning, not just for apps, but across your business, vendor management, risk assessment, compliance. All of these things are major components for how we engage in our advisory services. And even getting to the point where we can train your organization on certain behaviors. Of course, systems administration, being able to solve those very advanced problems and doing that within an SLA window, having proactive maintenance and automation, infrastructure optimization, on-site and remote delivery, and being able to deliver on projects consistently and communicate and manage them to efficiency. All of it breaks down to the first bucket is communication and how well we execute. From there, we get into efficiencies within the NOC, which is called Network Operations Center. This is really how we drive efficiencies. So that way, the goal of a NOC is that we're doing everything so proactively that you never call us to ask us what's this or what's happening or hey, I'm having a problem here. The goal of the NOC is to make sure that we're being extremely proactive in your inventory management, in your cloud productivity suite, in your asset management and backup and patch management. Of course, then we have our service desk, and finally, our security. If you're working with an IT organization today and they're not focused on a security first methodology and really driving all decisions within your technology stack towards compliance within your industry or security within your industry, that should be a major red flag. I can tell you that security threats are the number one topic that I talk about with my executives on our EBR's executive business reviews. You know, things like AI and automation are great for our business and sound super exciting about how we can drive forward in this new shiny vehicle. But I can tell you the bad guys have access to that too, and they're using it to make the world a scarier place. Having an organization who's focused on security is only going to help drive value forward and make sure that we're ahead of the curve, not turning with it. So, key differentiators. Why cloud at work? I mean, I think we went through a lot of them. These are all listed out here for you so you can see exactly, kind of what we're all about, but I'm gonna call out a few. We are bilingual, we are multilingual. We have a 24 by 7 knock and sock help desk that has access to all time zones with, I believe, 3 or 4 different languages at this point, which is fantastic. We have VCTO and vCISO services. Now, a lot of companies that you'll talk to, like, yeah, we have VCTOs, we have vCISOs, these folks that can come and do these things, um, and really they're not as strategic or at the top half that customers would like. They're spread across many customers. I can tell you that these individuals are tasked with really strategic projects. We have what we call TAMs, or technical account managers, that really are there to help for that one point, that one point of contact for all of your client needs. So that frees up our vCTOs and vCISOs to be extremely dedicated towards solving very strategic problems. The benefit of working with Cloud at Work that's not listed here is when you think about all of these great things foundationally from an IT and service and security and compliance perspective, there's not another organization out there who's so focused on those things while still focused on the application health, well-being, and business process. We have expertise in all areas. Like I said, that thing that you hold in your hand to the applications that drive your business. That's what we're all about. These are some breakdowns on how you can consume managed services based on where you're at today and what you're looking to solve for or supplement. It's not this all or nothing thing, as you can tell here in this chart. There are ways to turnkey and just say, hey, here's everything, Tyler, we're ready to go all in. And there's ways to help supplement. It's very much an a la carte packaging, and we can help solve whatever problem that you're facing and do it in the most cost effective way. But to know that you can start somewhere and end somewhere is a part of the planning process, and we want to help you through that journey. So, choosing the right MSP, if you're a Sage end user, make sure they have industry specific expertise as well as application expertise. That's what's driving your business. That there's proven cybersecurity capabilities and investments being made, that they have transparent and easy to understand service level agreements, that they have 24/7 support and global reach, and the ability to scale as your business grows. Just so happens all 5 of those things are Cloud at Work and Net at Work. So with that, I was hoping we could get into a Q&A session and understand a little bit more about maybe things that you're facing or questions that you have in that discussion. I will say and leave you with as well, when we look at these pieces, this isn't a rip and replace. When I talk about supplementation, yes, I believe that Cloud at Work and Net at Work can offer a ton for our customers. But when you look at these pieces, a lot of times we're actually co-managing IT with either internal employees or even outsourced consultants. We work very well with other folks, right? We do that on a daily basis. So please don't feel that by gaining some of these expertise and looking for ways to engage at a different level for your business, that you have to change everything or get rid of employees or get rid of IT consultants that have been with your company for years and years and years. This very well can work as a co-managed agreement as well. So that being said, I'll open up the questions. Just looking here to see if there are any questions typed. The first question I see is, how is pricing broken down in the buckets? I can tell you that there is published pricing that we have, and it all depends on the services that you're looking for. There's experiences that we really break it down to, and it's all based on what you're looking to accomplish within your business. But we have packages as low as $75 a user and packages that go up to 200, 250 a user, all depending on what you're looking to solve for. Great question. I see another question here. How does this replace my CEP plan, which is a customer experience plan with Net at Work? And the answer is no. It actually integrates directly with it. So within a Sage managed service package and Cloud at Work package, it integrates directly with and picks up and increases your capability within your CEP strategy, giving you capability and access to network and performance of the network and of the database that you wouldn't necessarily have before. Great question. I don't see any other questions. I'll give a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, all good. The things that I wanted to cover next, we are going to have an upcoming webinar series. We're calling it our Summer Learning Series. So these are some of the dates and topics to be aware of. They're all going to be at 2 o'clock, and they're scattered throughout the end of May and into June. We're going to also be having some amazing guests on our podcast. So if you haven't checked that out, it's called the Cloudcast. We're on YouTube and post a lot on LinkedIn. We've just recently had guests from Barracuda. We have guests coming up from Nerdio and Microsoft and some great companies that are really going to help enable you see around corners. Check out our blog posts and our resource library at thecloudatwork.com. And I can tell you, maybe it's premature, but the Cloud at Work or cloudatwork.com. We did recently acquire the Cloud at Work domain, so feel free to communicate to us very shortly through both of those. With that, I will say goodbye and thank you very much for all of your time today. Please feel free to reach out to the Cloud team and ask us any questions that you might have. We're here for you. We're here to make you more successful. And most importantly, we're here to make sure that your technology consumption experience is the most positive that it absolutely can be. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.